Hi guys, I'm live. How you guys doing? I'm live on my front porch. I got like 12 hours sleep last night. I must have needed it because a lot of times I stay up and I only get a few hours for like 3 nights in a row or something like that. And then it catches up to me, and then one night I'll sleep like 12 hours. At least that's the way it's going lately, and that's what just happened. I think I slept 3 days worth of sleeping just last night. Gosh, 12 hours. It might have been more. No, about 12 hours. Came home from my walk, maybe more. Well, about 12. I came home from my walk about 3 or 4, and then basically went right to bed and didn't get up until 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's 12 hours basically. I just want to do nonsense rant. I don't have a bone to pick with anyone right now. I just want to just do some nonsense rant, just whatever's on my mind. So what is on my mind? I'm really going in a direction on my channel where I'm going more for the feeling of things rather than trying to think too much. Remember Eddie Van Halen said that. I just remembered the rest of the quote I quoted a while back. He said, maybe people copy the technique because they can't cop my feel. Maybe they shouldn't think so much. Eddie Van Halen said that. And he also said, you play a guitar, you don't work a guitar. Eddie Van Halen had fun when he played. That's why he smiled all the time, and he would go like this when he had an idea on the guitar. I'm starting to do that, taking after him, I guess. And I'm starting to smile more. I'm just having more fun. I don't want to worry about, what scale I'm playing or if it's the right note. I just want to have fun and play notes that I think are the right notes and see if it sounds good. If it sounds good, that's great. I played the right notes. That's what Eddie Van Halen said. If it sounds good, it is good. He didn't have a theory behind a lot of what the shit he did, he his only theory, basically, he said, you have 12 notes, what you do with them is your thing. He didn't make a big deal of which one to play, just do your thing. I'm starting to take on that, and I think I did it. Oh, I know, stupid volume is on. Sorry about that, guys. Now I got to shut it off. See that. Anyway, yeah, and I lost what was I gonna say? Yeah, what was I gonna say now? I was gonna say, yeah. Oh, geez. I'm glad you guys stayed with me when I did this. I'm trying to think. I had 12 hours of sleep. I feel like a Mack truck just went over me. Yeah, like I was saying, I got my train of thought back now. Yeah, so Eric Johnson did a gig in 2006 at Anaheim, at the Grove in Anaheim, California. He just calls it Anaheim is the name of the show. And the DVD. And he lets his hair down in that show. He's famously one of the most meticulous guitarists in the world. And he just let his hair down, just so to speak. He just played for fun. And he did an interview after the fact. It's on the bonus features, where he talked about this. He said, I'm tired of being perfect. I'm tired of trying to chase every possible periphery. I'm tired of trying to be so analytical that I forget to have fun in the process. I've watched that video like 50 times, or something. And that's what basically, I'm not saying I'm Eric Johnson, but that's the kind of point I'm at. I'm at the point where I want to have fun in the process, Brian May from Queen, he said, I hate when when I'm reduced to just playing patterns I know on the guitar for my solos. He hates when he just has to think, well, I'm playing this scale, it's this pattern. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to play the notes he really wants to play and not think too hard, not think too much about what pattern he's playing, if it's the right note or the wrong note. And he played some of the most brilliant, beautiful solos in rock history. So from all these different influences, I'm getting the idea that let me just have fun, worry about the notes later. DJ, my pseudo mentor, even said, theory is just analysis of what's already been played. sometimes at least, just play the note you want. That was DJ's one of the last advices he gave me when he last talked to me about 15,000 years ago. LOL. He said, just play the note you want, you know? And that sounds like too simple to be true, but sometimes that's what you do. That's a rhyme. Sometimes simplicity actually works. Sometimes simplicity is the best idea. You know, things that work aren't always hard or complex, I should say. Maybe they're hard, but then maybe they're not. Maybe they're simple but hard to do, but they're still simple, you know. And so I like the way I'm happy with how I took this approach yesterday, not today, but yesterday. In the two covers I did Child in Time by Deep Purple, and I did How Many More Times by Led Zeppelin. I'm happy with those takes. I really got into the performance. I enjoyed my playing. I was rocking out myself. And that seems to resonate, and I'm glad it did, you know. I'm happy about that. And then today, since I got 12 hours sleep, I had limited time to do stuff. So all I've done is this one long jam I call Rambunctiousness Divine. And yeah, and I was just kind of going for it. I didn't want to say I'm now in this key, therefore I shall play these notes. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to say, well, let me go to the key and play the notes I want in that key. And don't do anything mechanically, but do things how I really feel. Oh, by the way, the Eric Johnson DVD, I'm now going back and forth, but the Eric Johnson DVD got me going back and forth. That's a Devil song. Check it out. That in that Eric Johnson DVD, and when Dal and I first heard it, we thought it was the most ridiculous one he'd ever done. We thought he was just fucking up left and right. But then I heard it a few more times, and it eventually became my favorite DVD that I have, a music DVD that I have, is that Eric Johnson DVD. Sometimes I watch others slightly more, like maybe the Black Sabbath DVD from 1970 in Paris, but Eric is my favorite one. And that's the one where he just let himself mess up if he wanted to. Just let it go with the flow, have fun, you know. It's my favorite music DVD now. It shows him being non-analytical, non-anal, whatever that means, you know, like non-perfectionistic, and just going for the vibe and the flow. It's my favorite music DVD. So there's that. And in this video I just did this morning, Rambunctiousness Divine, I just tried to not do anything by rote, not do anything that just is a pattern. And I actually improved, and I even did a thing that I was talking about, this minor progression where you go down in half steps. I said whole steps at one point, but it's actually down 5 consecutive half steps from a minor key. And I went ahead and let you guys see me work that out. I wasn't like worried about, oh my gosh, you're going to think I'm messing up. In fact, maybe I did mess up, but I kept going and I worked it out. And now I know the process of how to do that. I did it live for you guys to see. And I didn't stop till I got the result I wanted. And I didn't bow out because I looked stupid. I just kept at it until I got my result. And now I think, and I get it now. Okay. I get it. Duh. But I did that for you guys, so you guys could see the process. I didn't wait till I figured it out and then just show you the end result. That's what Eric was saying too. Don't just love the end result, love the process. Otherwise, you're always going to have to push yourself to get up every morning and do your thing. You enjoy the process too. And I thank you, Eric Johnson. If you even have if there's any chance Eric is watching this or will watch this, thank you, Eric. That is one of the most cool rock interviews I've ever seen. It really spoke to me, and finally now I'm actually doing it. Of course, you were 7 years younger than I am now when you said that. So even if I am you, which I'm not, you beat me by 7 years, Eric. So cool. You know, I'm 59. He was 52 when he said all that. I'm 59, and I'm just now getting it. So I'm 7 years behind, even if I am doing it in reality, you know. But it's a cool thing, you know. It's a cool thing to get to that point. And realized he said he got tired of being perfect. He got tired of doing that. And he's glad he said bored. He's glad he got bored with it because now he can enjoy the music on a different level. And even if it isn't perfect, you get the vibe. You get the vibe you're after. You don't listen with a set of ears that is a musician's set of ears all the time. Listen to the set of ears that a listener would listen to. And they don't always listen for technical perfection. They listen for vibe. And I'm really happy that, I don't want to go on. I'm really happy that I'm making this turn myself. I'm really happy that, I did that especially on the take of How Many More Times Will I Up, and I was just rocking out, and you guys seem to like it, so appreciate that. That's the direction I'm going in. That's what I'm looking to do. And in my jam this morning, I really tried to stick to that. I tried not to play anything that I didn't really mean to play, and it's just a pattern, So that's okay. That's the music that's on my mind. Okay. What else is in my brain? I work on math. This is my calculus book. Just as the rug flies away because the book caught the rug. This is my calculus book. I read once in a while. And then when I get new insights about calculus and math, I share them with you guys a lot of the time. I have one right now. Can we do it just total tangential change of topic? In math, with Euler's theorem, it says e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0. Probably the most beautiful equation in mathematics, but it doesn't get noted a lot, but I've heard it noted, so it wasn't all my idea. That all the real numbers in the equation, which excludes I, because I is an imaginary number, of course, that would be 0, 1, pi, and e, are all within the numbers 0 and 4. That first book of numbers from 0 to 4 is where all 4 of those numbers land in. It's really interesting. People don't talk about that, but that's interesting. There's no 15. There's no 21. Pi is 3.14159.265. E is 2.718281828 on. 0, 1. They're all within 0 and 4. So I think that's kind of cool to note that they're within. Don't disrespect small numbers, because no number in Euler's identity is more than 4, and of all the real numbers in it. Then I is an imaginary number because it's the square root of -1, which doesn't exist, but we just make it up. So I think that's an interesting point about that. And what else? Oh, and about Lucian Graves. Matt thinks that's Pudge. I don't care anymore. I don't care if that's Pudge Yank in my chain or if it's Lucian Greaves of the Satanic Temple. Fact is, I believed it was Lucian Graves, and I responded how I really felt. And I think it's notable and cool that I didn't just bow to this guy because he's a Satanist, like I think I kind of am. I didn't give him any more credit than I give the Christian people. You can't be an asshole to me, even if you are actually what I believe, which is Satanism. You don't get to be an asshole to me. I'll just treat you don't get carte blanche because you're on my side of the truth. You still have to treat me with respect, and otherwise I'll sorry. But then along the spiritual thing, let me just add something to that topic. About the spirit. Somebody gave me $1 today when I was doing my jam. Thank you. I didn't get to see who you were because I was still playing. Thank you for the $1. Appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, about the spiritual thing again. I call what I go by the universe. I call my higher source or higher power, whatever you call it. I call it the universe, but I just had progress in that today, just this morning. What I call the universe allowed me and let me, and I went with it, call it God if I want to. I can call the universe. Right now, the universe doesn't mind if I call it God, because it puts an identity to it. It puts a personality to it. It puts a face on it, kind of, so to speak. And it doesn't mind right now. It doesn't mind if I call it God. Now, that does not make it the God of the Bible, nor does it mean the Bible's true in my book. It just means that I can consider it an actual personal entity rather than just the universe. It allowed me to call it God today. So sometimes if I say God, or if I think of that, I may say God, but it's not really the biblical Jehovah. It's the universe letting me call it, letting me personalize it and call it God. So, because if there's the Bible of the God, if the God of the Bible is true, like I said, I'm a Satanist. But not so much so that I'll let anybody that's from Satanism walk all over me, because no, you can't be a dick to me, So yeah, I can call it God if I want. All it is the universe with a name, or with a title, or with a personality. That's okay. I don't have. It's just a name. It doesn't have to be a big deal that I can call it God or just call it the universe. In fact, it's a deeper connection in my idea. And to me, that I can call it God is actually a deeper connection than if I just call it the universe. That's very impersonal. But it's letting me call it God right now. That's progress. It's progress along some line. I don't know, whatever. And there's that. That's cool. It just happened this morning. I said, go ahead and call me God if you want. That's okay. But the difference between what I do and Christianity and prayer is that what I do actually works. People don't expect their prayers to be answered because every time a prayer gets answered, they call it a miracle. And that shouldn't be if you actually expected your prayer to work, right? But my giving energy to things actually does work, and I don't call them miracles. I just call it giving it energy, and it worked. So which would you rather do? Worship a tyrannical, hateful, evil God that doesn't answer your prayers unless it's a miracle? Or a force like the universe that actually is good, has your back, has your best interest at heart, wants success for you, and isn't evil, isn't just the, and actually works when you give it energy. It actually works. When you give it energy, it actually works. So it's a God that's not evil, not against you, and actually does let your energy giving or prayers, whatever you call it, manifest in the physical plane, physical world. It works. It's not evil. Versus it's evil, and if it works, it's a miracle. It seems like a no-brainer to me, but that's just me. And but so there's that. Anything else? Well, sleeping is good, not just physically, but it's good to get when you sleep a lot, when you sleep good, you dream, which helps your subconscious. You get shit out of you process shit by dreaming about it a lot of the time, and your dreams can really be helpful to you. And you can't dream if you're not sleeping, unless you're on drugs or whatever. So there's that. Anything else? Just a second. Okay. Haters were wrong again on something. Some hater said he bets I'll be kicked out of the mall within 3 days of going back. Well, I've gone to the mall on the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. I've gone to the mall 5 days in a row. I'm still not kicked out again. So you're wrong. Own it, or just deny it and just shove it under the rug and keep hating. Whatever. So there's that. And in fact, this dude comes up to me at the mall yesterday. I was buttoning up 2 buttons, and he turns out he's security for the mall. So, and he's the dude. I could tell by his attitude and everything. He's probably the top security dude. Guess what? I'll give you time to anticipate it, because I'll just take a breather here just for a moment. He's actually a fan of mine. He said, you really rock on YouTube. I really like your playing. He even went to detail. Like he said, kids play like they play, but they don't play notes like you do. They just strum the chords and sing, but they don't play notes like I do. He was really a fan of me. I told him about the new songs that I just did, which is Shout in Time and How Many More Times, and he said he'd check it out as soon as he could, like that day or something. He said he would check it out right away. Now, the only thing he had to say to me was, please button up a couple more buttons, because, conservative people are coming in and out of here, so just button up a couple. So I buttoned up 4 instead of 2, and he said, that's fine. He said, and thank you for doing that, he said. Walked on. So the head of, what I feel is the head of security at the mall just met me yesterday, and all he asked me to do was button up 2 more buttons, which I did, which he thanked me for, and he's a fan of mine. I could tell he's a real fan. I could tell. He likes my guitar playing. He said, you rock on the guitar, or something like that. He said, you really, whatever, you know what I'm saying. He said, I really rock on guitar. So there's that. And he was a nice guy, cool. So thank you, head of security, for the mall, Temecula Mall. Glad you're a fan. Hope you liked the ones you just heard yesterday, Child in Time and How Many More Times. Time and time. They both have the word time or time and times in it. That's funny. Anyway, anything else while I'm here? Anything else? I only take 4 vitamins now. I used to take magnesium glycinate, but it was not help. It was making me too drowsy, and plus you can get magnesium toxicity. So the only vitamins I take are E, A, zinc, and CoQ10. I only take 4. I take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. Health is important, and you can't always get your nutrients from your food. Food is managed by Monsanto, which is part of the Committee 300. They're part of the Illuminati, and they don't want you to have good nutrition. They don't want you to eat. They don't want you to be well. So a lot of that energy goes into the food we eat. So if you want to really be healthy, you need to take vitamins. Is my idea, my belief, I should say. And I take 4 a day. I take E, A, zinc, and CoQ10. The others I either don't need as much, or I just feel like I get enough of those. Those are the 4 I take. 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And I think health is very important, and you can't just trust the food to get you your vitamins. You need to take supplements. Now the doctors don't want this because they make money off people that get sick, and people that don't take vitamins or supplements get sicker, in which helps the doctors and the health profession make more money. They're not even allowed to recommend vitamins. Doctors, as you know, they tell you. In fact, on the show, it's called what's it called? Not the end. It's called The Resident. The Resident is a medical term. It means a doctor in training. It stars Emily Van Camp and what's his name? I'm pulling this from my mind. I don't know. I don't remember it. I just have to pull it up. Don't remember right now. Anyway, they're doctors, and there's a line where they actually put in supplements made him sick, or her, whatever. Supplements cause this and this. In the show, The Resident, they actually have anti-vitamin, rhetoric in there, where they actually are knocking vitamins by accusing some vitamins of making certain patients on the show sick, which shows even the entertainment industry follows the medical industry, the health industry, and follows along their path and puts that propaganda in the actual shows. But there's no way that supplements would have had anything to do with this issue going on in that episode. They just had to say that, or did say that, because it helps the medical profession, and that helps everybody that is ruling make even more power and rule even more. Love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.